I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Present.
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 Present. Here.
Present.
Present.
Present. We're all here. Nice. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, 1975. Superintendent's report.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Just want to go through a couple of items that we went through the past 2 weeks. August 24th, we had a new teacher, on August 24th, we had the administrative professional retreat, which was the administrators and myself, who covered a number of areas prior to the start of the school year, including the observation model of Danielson and the use of my plan, my learning plan, as the tool for the actual input of data from that. It used to be Teachscape, which was bought over by another company. It's a long story, but now it's my learning plan. We also reviewed the Danielson model, discussed the DEAC committee to reassemble that, and we're going to be in the process of doing that shortly. We had them review the district goals, all 5 goals, and as well as the administrative goals that they're currently working on. We also updated some information in the Genesis data system for the school system. We looked at school wires because we do have a new website, which is getting better every day. I know at the first couple of days it was a bit of a headache, but I think we're in a better place now. So we'll keep that going. Also reviewed our calendars and whatnot for whatever we're going to need for meetings during the course of the school year. So that took place there. New teacher orientation took place right on September 1st. August 30th. And August 31st, 2 days of pretty intense work for them to get used to all of the software that we use within the building, a review of policies, review again of the system, the Danielson model that we use, and just an abundance of all types of information they would need prior to going into the classroom on September 6th when the students came back to school. Then we got to September 1st when all the new teachers came into the building, all the teachers, I should say. All staff came back. We had to use the gym. Actually, it wasn't too bad. We were able to get in there and do what we needed to do. I did a presentation for the full staff, welcoming them back, going over a couple of new things that are taking place during the school year. Also explaining my vision for the district, which is basically to continue to grow and have a successful academic program and build more communication and collaboration between Board of Education, myself, and with the town and all the families within the town. So that's very important. AP course review, I think I have that information with me this evening. There was a question that was asked at one point. I was a little remiss because I got it and then I forgot to report it. So we'll take a look at that. Here we go. The number of students that took AP classes last year was 112. 112 students participated. The prior year, I believe, we were at 94, so there was significant growth there. The number of students that actually took AP tests out of that number was 101. So only 11 students out of that number did not take the test. So we're very happy about that. I don't have all the scores with me, but most students did very well. And this year, we're down just a little bit, but we have to keep in mind, too, that the junior class is much smaller, too. So I think we're about 95, 97, somewhere in there. But it truly does reflect just those handful of students that are no longer here. So we want to continue to grow with that. We also had some questions on the option 2. For this school year, we have 30 students that are involved in option 2. If you're not familiar with option 2, That's an alternative program where students can get college credits or do some kind of job shadowing, get some internship hours, and it goes toward their graduation requirements. This does not replace anything that they need to have in place for their diplomas by the state of New Jersey. Okay, so that's what option 2. So that seems to be growing a bit too. I think last year it was 24. We're up to 30, and everybody, as far as I know currently, is involved in either college program or, as I said before, some type of internship.
Through the chair, sorry, is it possible to get the scores of the students who
Absolutely. Yes.
And as far as the 30 students enrolled, do we know if they are definitely placed as of now?
As far, I was told they are, but I want to get the actual placements. But I did want you to have the information to answer that question.
I also have a question. I know we discussed throughout the summer, we had a meeting when we talked about option 2, and Kim, you were there. The jobs that they had to be something that was going to lead to their future, or they could be any type of jobs.
It really should be something that they're interested in doing. So if you have someone who is, I'll use a extreme case here, someone who wants to go into law, they can probably do a job shadow or some type of internship in a law firm. Those are the kinds of things we're looking for.
So we left it the way that it was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have
All
a
right.
question.
Sure.
On the AP course review.
Right.
You said this year we have 95 to 97 students approximately.
This current school year, yes.
Is that a recent number? Like
That
this
actually was
past week?
that number came out the beginning of last week. So there might have been some changes during the course of the week that came out.
Okay, because there are still
Sure.
a lot of students who went to private schools that are included in that
Okay.
count. And I just
And
wanted
there
to
might be,
accurate
on the other
count.
end too, they might have some students that are here
Came
that
in. Exactly.
wanted to go into AP
All right,
classes.
so as
But
soon as
we'll
we
get the
can
final
an
number.
accurate-
I always like to
appreciate
use,
it.
every year we have to do a report. The big report for the state is due October 15th. Those are the cutoff times that I like to use for our enrollment numbers across the board, and also how many students are in what types of classes, what they're studying, okay? So we'll finalize that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I also want to acknowledge the fact that on Wednesday, I have invited the administrators and supervisors to come and do a presentation. It's a basic presentation on park scores, which is, I'm looking forward for you to see that. But I don't want you to think for a moment that I forgot about the real in-depth comparison of all the scores and so forth that will take place in October. And along with that, I've also asked our supervisors to come in and do a presentation on the updates to curriculum work. Okay? So
Wednesday?
this Wednesday, you will get the, I'll call it preliminary park report. Okay. I also want to acknowledge the fact that, and thank the town, I was told, and then there was nothing that came, nothing in writing that came. It was just a couple of words here and there. But I'm happy to report that as of last Thursday, I believe, Chris Stanton, one of our officers from town, police officers, is now the SRO officer at the middle school, high school. So we do have somebody here, which is very helpful. And so far, I've seen him around quite a bit, and I hope that is able to deter anybody from making the wrong decision, or at least giving it a second thought. So that's good news.
Now, that's paid through the borough or
That's the borough. Okay. Somehow they were able to get it back in for us. If you recall, years ago, that was a program that started on a grant. Then the grant money went away, and there was a split between the boroughs and the school districts, and then it just faded away altogether. But somehow we managed to get that back, so that's good. And that's all I have as far as my superintendent's report for this evening. Okay. Ready to roll? Okay. So let's look at number 1. Any questions on student services?
I just thought we voted on this particular situation, but I guess I was wrong.
Not to my knowledge. Okay. So we will be. Looking at number 2, if there are no other questions on curriculum instruction. Okay, moving to business and board. I would ask you to kindly look.
been a lot of changeover now, so I'm not sure if you're even aware of this, but at one point, the last superintendent was trying to hold all the workshops and training that all the teachers going out for geared towards math and science to really push that forward. Are we still doing that, or is it open back up for a mix of everything?
We have a mix of everything, but I did meet with our 2 supervisors last week, and there is a couple of things that I pointed out that I'd like to see happen for training. So I would say that it's still there.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
We know where we need help, and certainly we're going to reach out for it. Okay. Once again, 1 through 4. Anything else?
Workshops, is definitely not going. It's on now taking off. If not, I'll actually get in October.
Is there any way to do it online? Yeah. Okay, because I would need to do it. Right, because I would need to do it online.
We can do next year's training at the end of this year. We did last year, right?
To the chair, Ray, I say you need that for the workshop, right? Same email, that will be available for that. Yeah, through the chair. I will be able to come here. I'm still in school.
We've done with that already.
If it's online, I can do it.
Mr. Karate, you're going to sign us up for the workshop that we need? You know what we need? Okay. Okay.
Any other questions in regards to 1 through 4? Okay, seeing that, I will ask you to look at just numbers 5 through 7 at this time.
Okay. On 5 and 6, information was requested, and we agreed to put this back on the agenda, providing we got that information. Did we get the information?
I have information regarding dates and the times and what's actually going on. I have that here.
But no itinerary.
Is there an itinerary?
The itinerary is broken down by hours. I don't have copies of it because I received it late in the day because I requested it. I said if they couldn't have it today, definitely want it by Wednesday, but I do have that. And I also have one for the next item on the list as well.
I just have a lot of, I mean, there's just, I know we met with policy and we were going to try to address some policies to ensure that these trips are meeting our policy and safety and all that.
So that's the thing that we had discussed in regards to having a meeting after this.
Right.
And I am working on that. I think I put that in the update over the weekend that I am reaching out to
But
accountants.
the Italy trip had not
Italy,
been on
no,
there
this
prior.
is something that I really spoke to our president today. My concern is coming into this district is what you do differently than I have never experienced before is that trips magically appear on an agenda. And, you know, when you have these overnight trips, either the curriculum committee or an education committee should spend a half hour or so even inviting in the advisor for these types of, or the teachers, and sitting down and really getting full knowledge of what's going to take place. So my recommendation for anything like of this magnitude moving forward is that we institute that and try to get that in process. Because otherwise I'm sitting here with a trip in front of me. I mean, fortunately for this Italy trip, I do have information, but I'm sure you're going to want more, and rightfully so. But I think that we really need to take a look at these types of trips and spend some time before we sit here. That's my recommendation. I have to be honest that the one, I do have a copy for you, I guess, in that packet. For the Italy trip, that's probably the most comprehensive one out of all of them. And it's really, you know, laid out pretty well, but certainly if we're still going to have questions, again, we need to look at these.
I know it's hard to say, but do you have any idea approximately how many students this could be?
And let me just take a look on the application.
Show Ten-day trip.
10 days, yeah, it's gonna have to be, because the cost is, admission, $2,800, it looks like, for the actual cost. And that's prior to fundraising, they will be doing some fundraising.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, through the chair, what was the,
2,800, yeah, per student for the 10 days. So it's a ninth grade honors and AP World History. So it's a combination of two groups. I don't even want to estimate what the number would be because I really don't know. I mean, if we look at two classes, it could be 50, yeah.
and as far as chaperone, I don't know, I feel like we should just table this.
Mr. Karati is saying 12, but I'm just not seeing it on this form. Okay, so it's a
I mean, are
small
the
group.
teachers going,
You might need legal counsel there. Yes.
I just feel like there's a lot of,
I'm kidding.
A wine taster maybe.
She's volunteering to go.
I knew it was a joke, Jess. I was gonna say board president.
I can tell you that they're planning on seeing Venice, Florence, Naples, and Rome.
Through the chair, $2,800 for 10 days. I mean, the
I think
airfare
we're all volunteering to be chaperones.
The airfare alone is
Yeah, it was about $1,200 probably.
probably $1,000. The board.
Well, there's
they're gonna see
probably
what
going through these companies. You know, for students, usually there are some good rates that they get. No, they we can't have them do that. They're going to Sicily. I'm going to send them to my uncle's house. But, yeah. So, yeah, that's basically. I do have an itinerary here, which is quite extensive, which I believe you do have now. But the number of students, as Mr. Karati said, looks about 12 students combined, and what we have 3 chaperones.
and who are those chaperones? Teachers?
I know one teacher, 2 other teachers.
All teachers, and then according to policy, they get $100 a night stipend, and so that would be times 3 teachers for that week,
So you're looking at $2,000.
$3,000.
So that's what, oh, here. Oh, actually, this is the week school is closed, so no subs will be needed here.
I'm sorry?
Mr. Comando was talking about substitutes, but we don't need substitutes, schools are closed.
Right, okay.
It's on a break.
All right, if you can find out who
Yep.
not necessarily who they are, but what his
Who's,
thought process is as to who the 3 chaperones, whether they would be parents, staff, whatever, by Wednesday, if you appreciate it.
absolutely. All right, so that's, any other questions on 5 through 7? Okay, and I would ask you to review 8 through 12.
Actually, I just want to confirm approving the trips with the notion that we were sitting with policy again to kind of go over some of the issues that we've had in the past, and that the board does have a right to revoke any
Well,
trip.
that's something that they're not going to follow, and that's,
Right.
you have to make that
Okay.
clear. I am also, currently I'm going over that entire field trip policy. So there are a couple of things that we'll share at the next policy meeting, which will be soon, I hope.
Yeah.
So we'd like to get that, and it'll be helpful. All right, so once again, going through 8 through 12. All righty.
Through the chair. Do we have a start date with number 11? Is it going to be as soon as we approve it that they're going to?
I haven't been in touch with them, so I don't know if Mr.
Right.
Karati is.
Then- Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, looking at letter D, the policies, number one for first reading. Your initial report that was sent to you did have in it a number 5, which was not the policy itself, but the policies are in there, but we removed the resolutions. After speaking to Strauss Esme, we had 2 resolutions that did not need to be there, so we eliminated number 5 and number 8. So if you still have the original one in front of you, which has a number 5 that says Affirmative Action Program for Employment and Contract Practices Complaint Procedure, contract language. I'm sorry, number 5, affirmative. Okay, so you have the updated, and you have the updated. All right, so that answers that question. That was good. Okay, so looking at the policies, the only one that I'd like to add some information to would be the newest one, which is on the use of social network. If you remember in our policy meeting, those of you who attended part of that committee, there was number 10 that our attorney Jessica had put in there. I did add some words. I did express a concern that the principal should have some back support or should give support to some of these things. So I'm going to read number 10 the way it's presented in this. This was reviewed by Jessica earlier today. And I will have it written this way for the meeting on Wednesday. So it should read, shall not post or publish any audio or video recordings taken on school property and or of staff members and or of students without written permission of principal and verifying parental consent based on filed information. The filed information I'm talking about is at the start of the school year. Parents have to sign off on if they give permission for their kids to be recorded or photographed and so forth. So I think that also helps us in that spot. So that's the way it will be completed.
Okay, can I just make an observation, comment? We're going through all of this and we're doing this policy. First day of school, log on to Facebook, and our Falcon, whoever mans
Twitter.
that site,
It was on Twitter.
it was on Twitter, sorry, had our students walking into the school, had pictures of the resource. I think it's all a great thing, don't get me wrong, but the first day of school, there's definitely no parental consent, without a doubt in my mind, and they're on there.
So this tell me it's on Twitter and somebody posted that scoop?
It was actually from the school, from Saddlebrook Falcons. It was just welcoming the students back. However, there were pictures of students in the tweet.
Was it our own
Yeah.
reader?
Tweet.
Twitter. Tweet, never mind.
Okay, so
Was it our own account?
Yes, it's Saddlebrook Falcons or SB Falcons or something like that.
Okay.
So I think our concern is that we're working hard to keep our students safe, that we're putting these policies in place, and we just hope that we don't listen. We're glad. We want to see the school encouraging and welcoming our students back. We like that they use technology, but I just think that our staff really needs to be aware of what the policies are before they do things like that. That's all our concern is. We don't want them to stop it. We just want them to follow the policies that we're kind of, spending time putting into place, being handed down from the state, being mandated by the state. They're important and they're there for a reason. That's all.
and I think that, again, number 10 really addresses that, so moving forward,
Right.
once this is approved after the second reading, we can really enforce this and make sure that that's what happens. Okay? Other than that, in that section, any other questions on policy? Okay. Committee reports, take that one over.
Sure. Okay, well, obviously there was no budget committee to be reported. Building grounds,
I'll be getting a report on Wednesday.
okay. Curriculum,
Sylvia and Kim had a meeting that day, unfortunately, none of us could make it, so I wanted to tell them to sit with me on it. We had a fire meeting, pretty extensive, we were here for a couple hours. Then how they see why we're improving and what we're trying to do, long process. And I guess we'll go over a little bit more, I don't have the whole process, but I'll get it on Wednesday, explain a little more about it.
Policy, Kim? Negotiations?
I think
we're pretty
he
good
covered
with
it. I do have a question going back to number 2. I just saw in my notes. We were waiting to find out if those trips for the Latin Club were happening during school or after school.
They're all after school.
The Latin Club.
3:30, 4 o'clock, or whenever.
Perfect. Thank you.
Policy report, Kim?
I think we covered.
Covered pretty much.
Yeah.
Do you have
We
anything
are
to add?
going to meet again. The last meeting, you know, it was almost 2 hours, kind of going over important things. For these for the comprehensive equity plan, things that we had to have in place. And so the other issues that we need to speak about, we'll meet again within the next week or so to finish up our agenda for that meeting.
Thank you. Thank you all. First,
Policy. Curriculum meeting, I will reach out to the supervisors if, I'm willing to do something as early as next week if we can. If I can get that right, so we'll reach out to everybody. Yeah, I'll check with them tomorrow and send out an email with a couple of dates and see if we can make that happen. You're welcome.
any other comments? Okay. Correspondence? Anyone objects, we better get there quick. Any other correspondence? All right, old business? New business?
Somebody say something? Yes.
Through the chair, I'd just like to commend the band. I went to the memorial service, the ceremony for 9/11 yesterday at St. Philip's, and they did an outstanding job. They were there with Mr. Ortega, and they did a wonderful job. It was a great ceremony, and it was really, really nice. So, just like to thank the band.
Thanks.
Very important function.
Through the chair,
Yes.
I just want to welcome our students and staff back to a new school year. I hope it's successful and engaging. Just want to welcome everybody back.
Thank you, Chair. I noticed on Mayo, we'll put 2 crosswalks. Right. Does anything happen with the crosswalk over here?
I don't believe at this time anything's happening. We did have a little discussion about that, but I believe that it has to stay where it is. That one.
I know they just added one as a
Yeah,
group
so I
today, so.
wasn't told anything at this point, but we will check it.
Anything else under new business?
New business, I'd just like to bring up, getting back to school starting. I'm happy to report that really we got off to a wonderful start. Visited every building, every place was spotless, the students were all busy. I'm sure there were some things that I'm not aware of that may need some help, but on the surface, everything looks fine. I went into the classrooms, teachers were working, the students seemed happy. Spoke to them for a little bit, and from K to 12, and very happy with what I saw. So I will remain mobile throughout the district, visiting schools, because I like to do that, and I need the exercise. So I will maintain that and hopefully get in there more often. So that's good news. I also wanted to express something here from Mr. Lawler, the principal here at the high school, middle school, high school. He's inviting you to a this Friday, the 16th, celebration of success at the high school. We're doing a barbecue outside during the regular scheduled lunch periods. So the entire school will report to the stadium 7th and 8th periods, and then we'll have a pep rally from there. But you are invited. Mr. Lawler will be here on Wednesday, and I will ask him to give you more details on that. So if you can, just try to leave, if you're available, certainly try to leave that time open. Perhaps join us, okay? Positive stuff, good stuff.
I'm hearing that. Anything else? Okay, we're going to open the meeting to the public. Residents are required to state their names, address, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 5 minutes duration. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Motion to open meeting to the public. Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Meeting's now open to the public. Anyone wishing to be heard, please step up to the podium, state your name and address.
I was reading about the hot topic I was people are concerned about allergy policy. I kind of feel like the way it is right now with children having allergies kind of puts it in isolation that isn't fair. And they want to ask if you guys consider make a table where children who choose to bring peanuts and or tree nuts will sit at a table as opposed to making children who have an allergy have to go sit somewhere with an allergy and get something about an allergy. Seems like a simple little thing. A very long running discussion over the last week or so. One other thing I'd like you to start considering leadership, I don't know where you stand on this. About 30 districts in New Jersey have passed a resolution against our county for students for graduation, and I'd like to ask you all to consider passing a resolution just like almost 30 districts in the New Jersey school boards have done. My daughter's class, my daughter who's in 8th grade, her class will be the first one. Doesn't matter if they're straight A students with tons and tons of activities. If they don't pass the part, they don't graduate. My daughter last year made 4 B's all year in all these. Didn't do well on this test. It scared me to think that she might not be able to graduate because of one, in my opinion, really kind of stupid test. So I would just ask that you consider in your present discussion passing a resolution like the others now that we've got a new incoming commissioner of education. And maybe we'll be a little softer on their stance because he's not Pearson's board. I would like to ask that you consider passing a resolution like the proactive districts in the state of New York.
If I may, Mrs. Yasmin, just so you're aware, those resolutions are more of a statement made by a board. Okay, I just want to make sure you're aware that. Okay, that they hold no legal value.
No, I get
okay.
that.
All right,
I get that.
sure.
I follow them all online, but strengthen them.
Sure.
I feel like there are more districts that come out and say, you know what, this isn't fair. Maybe someone will take note and start paying attention because it's not fair to children that they have one option, one test. And SATs and ACTs, those aren't options for starting with my daughter's class as of right now. I'm hoping that will change. But I'd like to see you all come together and pass a resolution and move it through. It's not fair for our youth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Angela Robinson, I'm from General Stars. Here at Action, we have the South Educational Foundation. I know that at the beginning of the school year, Foundation had put out grant opportunities for teachers back in June, and the deadline of these October. And I wanted to just make sure everybody's aware of what's going on and really encourage teachers to please. The other thing is on September 26th, we have our annual walkathon. 10 years now. For the students to get out, and it's exercise, they have a day that day, so, you know, kids just really just walk around their own buildings, and the high school doesn't run a 2 period, so that's just looking for that support. Additionally, we have on November 14th, we're going to have this case of the town again, and we'll be holding it at Crown Plaza. And we'd like to give the grant awards that evening to the teachers who have so that's just really the nice things we'd like to do to help with the educational enrichment of the students and faculty here. We're also sponsoring on December 6th. Well, from the schools, it's going to be Dr. Fallon coming to do a workshop for the kids, and then at night a workshop for the parents on bullying, et cetera, et cetera. So these are things that we're trying to do to help district with kids, our community, and this would really like the support. So all our money that we raise goes directly back. So I just wanted to plug that. I know there's not a lot of people here, but I know it's on the plug, just because we have done that, and just to heads up on that. And Boston, the taste of the town for grants, and there's Dr. Fallon. So it's all like doing the things for the district.
Ms. Robinson, if you don't mind, can you just send me an email to remind me in regards to the grant money? Because then I'll notify the principals and have them make sure that
We've been doing it in the fall, because the teachers are so busy.
Right.
So instead of, let's do it in the spring, in June or May, and so you have all summer.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, we all procrastinate.
Yeah, so that's why I think a little reminder might be a good idea. Okay, and I'm happy to hear that Michael Fallon will be coming here too. I've worked with him in 2 prior districts. He does an excellent job.
During the day for students, and the evening we have a workshop with parents, I really would like to hopefully see the path. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing how there's a motion close the meeting to the public.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? To recess to close executive session to discuss personal contract negotiations and matters covered by the attorney-client privilege per NJSA 1046 Open Public Meetings Act. The subject matter discussed may be disclosed to the public if and when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Action may be taken when the board reconvenes in open session. Motion to go into close.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Hope to see you all Wednesday night.